Thanks, all of you who stayed back and watched the film. I know it's a difficult film to watch. Well, the making of the film, it's been 3 years, or close 3 years, that I've been working with this film. And the only thing I can say is it changed me completely as a person. You know, I was this girl in a bubble who just wanted to make art and art films and didn't know anything about the society or the kind of system we live in, or, you know, the fact that we are, you know, part of the problem. Everything is interconnected. You know, it's not just caste issue. It's not just, you know, politics. It's not just that. So I think culturally, in every aspect of our life, the way we live it, the things we choose to speak on, and the things we choose to be ignorant about, I think every step we take is, you know, dictating the kind of society we live in. So before making this film, I was always like, oh, I hate this system. Oh, nobody's doing nothing about this. You know, but then realizing that, oh shit, I am the problem, you know. And I need to like kick the system whenever I can, you know, make a film or make, you know, anything, but just not keep quiet.
It could be anywhere in South Asia, the kind of oppression, but there are specificities about Nepal, particularly the People's War and what followed. And you know, you've really brought that out so well, the betrayal by the ruling class of the Dalit women particularly. So I think that again is a message here in India where, you know, one has hopes in a way from the political process, but also there's a lot of civil society organizing. And I think that comes through so clearly in your film.
When I was researching about this film, I came across, I mean, of course, I had to research about India as well, but it got to a point that I could not, because it's so brutal in India, like 100-folds brutal than what I've seen or heard in Nepal. So I guess if you guys are, you know, if you make any kind of art or, you know, whatever you do in society, it's all of your responsibility also. You know, to not hide under culture or, you know, take stand.
One question was, did you face resistance with people from the upper caste in the villages while you were making this film? If there's anything there, it'd be nice to know for others who venture into such areas.
So much in the eastern side of Nepal. There was a lot of resistance from the upper caste. Like, so whenever I used to, there are a few families that I spend quite a lot of time with. So this one case, the perpetrators lived like right next to the survivors. So they would always keep eye on us wherever we go. So if I'm shooting here, filming here, interviewing here, I would see like tons of bikes just like, you know, doing a 180 and just like keeping an eye on me. And
Hi, thank you. It was very, very difficult to watch, as you said. I have a question. Was it deliberate? The details were very painful. It was horror-filled. At the same time, the visuals, they were very painterly, beautiful. So was it deliberate to, you know, the cruelty and the beauty side by side of the place?
It was very intentional because while I was researching about this issue, the imagery, the way we present it, and the way it has been presented for a long time, it was so loud and clear for me. You know, the way the images represent this community, like, you know, you're always showing someone, you know, in pain, crying, you know, and making it just about that one subject. You know, if you watch some documentary about just one subject, you feel like you sympathize with them, this and that. But you know, when you look at the larger picture, it's not just about one case. You know, you need to understand how the system works, basically. So I didn't want to present a kind of voyeurism, if I can say that. You want to see like sad and struggling people, but I wanted to present people in a very warrior form as they are, fighting the system. So with that, the rest of the images is sort of my memory of how I was feeling while I was making those interviews. So whenever they would tell me the stories, something would click in my mind and I would go right at the space and memory of those people. And I tried my best to translate it as that, rather than what is popular.
I can only think of two things. It's beautiful and it's brave. And even those women, each one of them, I think, was that. They embodied that, which is why the film has also come out so powerfully. They're laughing. They're laughing at the system as well. For me, that is the ultimate resistance. That they're not just fighting back with guns, but they're fighting with their spirit. Which is saying that you're not going to bend me. So and especially some of the women, the last, where they're sitting and laughing, and they're saying that and they're talking, and it's wonderful how you have nuanced it. It's like the enemy is not just one, like it's there, it's embedded in the landscape, it's everywhere, and yet the resistance is also there. So they're talking of they're Dalits, but they're also being violated by the Maoists, who are supposed to be the ones who are fighting, by their own men, by the Dalits themselves. So it's all the nuances are there, So I just wanted to, and like, what's the last group of women, for me, those were really, I just want to know a little more about them, those group of women who are just sitting there laughing and saying, yeah, she's our commander, we were her CID. I would like to know a little more about that community of women, who embodied the film for me, really.
So the commander, her name is Khumbaini. She's from the upper hilly region of Nepal. And they're wonderful. So all the time I was making this film, it was so overwhelming, so difficult to process, and just to be in the presence or be in the, place where those violence took place, it was so much difficult. But the moment I met them and hung out with them, it was so wonderful. They were like, yes, there is this evil in the society and we are living amongst them, but you gotta live, right? They were like, I still love my life. All of them would say that to me. And then, so it gave me a lot of courage to look, through adversities and then, triumph as they're doing. So, they are farmers, basically. So they also gave us a lot of home produce when we left their village. And they're still struggling a lot, but now they've formed this really tight friendship with all the other women in the community. So right now they're sort of this, leaders of the community that nobody can, even like pass a comment on them. Like, they're so powerful, and they plan to take this to other villages as well. So they're not regarded as these wonderful, strong women in their community. In their community, they're like, this, in Nepali we call bigreko aime, they're called that, like this ridiculous woman, But they're like, well, yes, it's, they want to print a t-shirt and like wear it.
Taking from what the previous person who said that, she said something very interesting, because she said that you conveyed something. But in that conveying, and you also said that we are part of the problem. But in the way that you made the film, there is I wouldn't say not a dissonance, but a distance, which one feels in the film, because there's so much of a narration in it, as a person who's watching it, as somebody who's doing it. Whereas in the previous two films which you saw, it is a very personal, personal experience and a personal portrait. I would say. And so there is that distance I felt in the film.
I think for me, I actually chose to have that distance, being a non-Dalit as well. For me, like, it's just my idea, but for me, just focusing on one subject and sort of navigating the system through the subject is not possible in this issue, I felt like, In order for somebody to get interested in this issue, is like you really, really have to have that interest, not just sympathy. Sympathy can only, last maybe a day or two or a week, maybe, But if somebody looks at this film and if it like sparks something like, for them, they can go and research about this issue. Like one film is not going to make any difference.
ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ನೇಪಾಳ ಮತ್ತು ಮಣಿಪುರದ ಒಂದು ಸಾಕ್ಷ್ಯಚಿತ್ರ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧವನ್ನು ಆರ್ಮಿ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರು ನಿಂತಂಥದ್ದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧ ಮತ್ತು ಈಗ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಈ ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧ ಎರಡೂ ಸಹ ಒಂದು ರಾಜಕೀಯ ನೆಲೆಗಟ್ಟನ್ನು ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಗಡಿ ಮತ್ತು ಗುಡಿ ಎರಡರಲ್ಲೂ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿರುವಂಥ ಹಿಂಸೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಹೆದರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಶೀಲ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಅಸ್ತ್ರವನ್ನು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದರು ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಮೀರಿ ನಾವು ನಗುವನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧವನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಬಲವರ್ಧನೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ನೇವಾರಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡಿಜಿಯಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಮಾವೋಯಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ದಬ್ಬಾಳಿಕೆಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಿನ್ನವಾಗಿ ದಲಿತ ಸಮುದಾಯ, ತಳ ಸಮುದಾಯಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತಾನೇ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗಿಂದು ಮತ್ತು ಇದು ಎರಡೂ ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಅಂತರ್ಮುಖಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಪಡೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧವನ್ನು ಎದುರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ದಾರಿ ಸಿಕ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
Just to sum it up what she said, the films that we saw, the 3 films that we have seen from the morning till now, in fact reinforces a kind of strength within us to have to resist. And we also see this both across the boundaries and between borders and across boundaries, the kind of violence and the particularly on Dalit people also, which does happen. But it also gives us a kind of a strength when we see this and how rape is used as a tool to subjugate women. But despite that, women find a space to laugh, to resist against this kind of violence.
How is your film accepted in Nepal?
The only time it screened was during our festival, 2022. Yeah, but I've been in touch with Dalit organization in Kathmandu who really want to translate this film in Nepali and take it to different universities as well, and the communities where we filmed as well. So that's the next plan for the film.